Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something wild, a company that wants to put a literal price tag on secrets.
You know that feeling, right? You hear some juicy rumor, see something unbelievable, and you think to yourself, man, I should totally get paid for this. Well, what if you actually could?
Get this, a new company, Flashleak, is trying to make that happen. They're basically building a stock market for secrets. Their whole goal is to take gossip, that whisper behind closed doors, and turn it into something you can actually verify and, more importantly, sell. So to really get what they're doing, we gotta look at what they think is broken. And that's the whole traditional world of gossip. Think about it. For years, the whole gossip game has been run by just a few big players, right? Your TMZs, your tabloids. And according to Flashleak's own plan, this means tons of tips from regular people, like bartenders, valets, you name it, they just fall through the cracks. Why? Because newsrooms are swamped and checking stuff takes forever. And the real kicker, the people who actually have the info, they get nothing. And this quote from George Rush, wow. He's their new chief intelligence officer, but he's a total industry vet. He used to run a major gossip column, so he knows exactly how many juicy tips just disappear into thin air. He sees a huge untapped gold mine in all that lost intel. Okay, so how is Flashleak going to scoop up all that wasted intel? Well, they're building a brand new kind of marketplace, so here's their official pitch. They call themselves an AI-powered celebrity intelligence exchange. Fancy words, right? But what it really means is they want to take cultural intelligence, basically gossip, and turn it into something you can trade like a stock. And their motto? It's pretty catchy, where whispers become wealth. The secret sauce here is really the tech. The whole system is built for speed, real time. They imagine this global network of flash reporters. That could be you, sending in tips, photos, videos, straight from their phones or even smart glasses. Then the special AI they build, the Credibility Index, checks if it's legit. And once it's verified, boom, it gets monetized on their platform. Okay, this sounds cool and all, but let's get to the important part. How do you actually make money from this? Let's walk through what it looks like to be a contributor. All right, check out these numbers. The system rewards one thing above all else: proof. If you've got a photo or a video to back up your tip, that's where the real money is. I mean, catching an A-lister in some huge scandal could net you up to $5,000. But hey, even smaller stuff, like a D-list fashion disaster, still gets you paid. But what if you don't have a picture? What if you just heard something? No problem, your tip can still be worth cash. This is where that credibility score comes in. The AI looks at your history, your location, everything. If you're a trusted source and your tip score is super high, like 90 or above, you could still be looking at up to $1,000. Not bad for just your word, right? So how do they figure out that score? It's basically a three-step dance. First, the AI does its thing. It scans metadata, your source history, even uses facial recognition. Step 2, actual humans, moderators, and a legal team give it the final once-over. And once it gets the green light, step 3, you get paid, and that hot tip gets sent out to the world. And wait, there's more. On top of that initial payout, you can earn bonuses. There are 2 big ones. First, speed. If you're the first person to send in a credible tip, you get a 10% bonus. Simple. The second one is the virality dividend. This is cool. If your tip absolutely blows up and goes viral, you get an extra cut. Basically a reward for the massive impact your intel had. Okay, so we know how the contributors get paid. But how does Flashleak itself make money? Let's take a look under the hood at their business model. This is actually pretty smart. They're not just betting on one thing. They've built a bunch of different ways to make money. We're talking licensing deals, subscriptions for people who want the scoop early, ad revenue, selling trend data, and yeah, even merch. So who's buying all this? Well, you've got the traditional media outlets, of course, buying verified content. Then there are premium subscribers, journalists, maybe even investors, who will pay a monthly fee for early access. Advertisers will pay to be on their channels, like a 24/7 podcast they're planning. And maybe the most interesting part? The data itself. Just knowing what's trending and who's getting buzz, that becomes a product they can sell. And here's where it gets really interesting. Yeah, this whole thing starts with celebrity gossip, but the company's vision, it goes way, way beyond that. First up, they're going after the global gossip industry. That's a market worth over $3 billion. But for them, that's just the starting line. It's just their foot in the door. So why start with gossip? Simple. It's the fuel for the massive $250 billion influencer economy. The stories they uncover could literally make or break careers, shift who's popular, and change the whole conversation online. And they're not content just to sell the information. Oh no, they want to be a media powerhouse in their own right. They're looking at things like the $17 billion podcast industry and thinking, we can own that by creating shows that analyze all the intel they're gathering. And they are not messing around. Look at this timeline. They're planning to launch their app and start raising money in late 2025. Just a few months later, bam, a 24/7 podcast and a global reporter network. And then, the Holy Grail. By early 2026, they want to launch a scandal prediction engine. Can you even imagine? And that right there shows you their real endgame. The tech they're building for celebrity gossip, that's just a test run. They believe this same model can work for sports, finance, true crime, even politics. Basically anywhere that secrets have value. So in the end, this isn't about starting just another media company. Their ultimate vision is so much bigger. They want to take all those whispers, those cell phone videos, that stuff captured by regular people, and turn it all into a legitimate, tradable asset, just like stocks or gold. Which leaves us with a really fascinating and honestly kind of provocative question to chew on. On one hand, this model could bring order and money to a chaotic world of rumors. But you have to wonder about the other side of that coin. What really happens to our privacy, to society, to what we even consider truth, when every single secret has a price?